The night sky above the sleepy village of Everwood had always been a breathtaking tapestry. Countless stars shimmered, and ancient constellations told stories older than the oldest oak. But one crisp autumn evening, something extraordinary happened. A cluster of stars, known to the villagers as Lyra the harp, seemed to tremble then, with a silent sigh that resonated deep within the earth. One brilliant point of light detached itself. It tumbled, not like a shooting star in a swift blaze, but gracefully, sadly, like a single tear falling from the heavens. It drifted downward, growing larger and softer, until it landed with a gentle thump deep within the whispering woods, its light dimming to a mere pulse beneath the dense canopy. The villagers saw the streak of light and whispered of ill omens, but none dared venture into the woods after dark. A young boy named Finn lived on the very edge of Everwood, his small cottage bordering the mysterious woods. Finn was quiet and thoughtful, often feeling as distant from the other children as the stars themselves. His parents were kind but weary from work, and loneliness was his most constant companion. He spent hours gazing at the sky, memorizing the patterns, feeling a strange kinship with the distant lights. The night Lyra lost its star, Finn felt a peculiar tug in his chest, a sense of profound loss mirroring the gap now visible in the familiar constellation. He watched the light descend into the woods, a place usually filled with shadowy fear, but now pulsing with a strange, compelling warmth. Sleep eluded him that night, replaced by an insistent curiosity about the fallen light and the quiet sorrow he felt echoing within himself. Driven by a feeling he couldn't explain, Finn slipped out before dawn the next day. A small lantern clutched in his hand, he ventured deeper into the whispering woods than he ever had before, guided by a faint, silvery glow that seemed to seep through the ancient trees. The usual sounds of the forest were hushed, replaced by a profound, watchful silence. Pushing aside a thick curtain of ferns, Finn gasped. There, nestled in a bed of luminous moss, lay the fallen star. But it wasn't a burning rock. It was a creature of pure, soft light. It had the delicate form of a small deer, its body woven from shimmering stardust, with eyes like deep, dark pools reflecting the entire Milky Way. Its light flickered weakly, like a candle guttering in the wind, and it radiated an aura of immense sadness and displacement. Finn felt his own loneliness reflected back at him tenfold. Finn approached slowly, his fear dissolving in the face of the creature's obvious vulnerability. "Hello?" he whispered, his voice barely disturbing the heavy air. The star deer lifted its head weakly, its luminous eyes meeting Finn's. A wave of pure emotion washed over him. Not words, but feelings. Cold emptiness, the terror of the fall, the crushing weight of being separated from its celestial home. Finn understood. He sat down beside the creature, not touching it, simply offering his presence. "You fell," he said softly. "You're lost, like me." Sometimes he began to talk, not expecting an answer in words, but sharing his own quiet world. His love for the stars, the feeling of being different, the comforting silence of the woods as he spoke. The star deer's flickering light seemed to steady, warmed by a faint, rosy hue. A fragile connection sparked between the earthbound boy and the fallen constellation. Days turned into weeks. Every dawn, Finn would bring fresh water and the ripest berries he could find. The star deer, whom Finn secretly named Lyrian, couldn't eat earthly food, but it seemed to draw strength from Finn's companionship and the offerings of pure water. Finn would read stories aloud from his worn book of myths, stories about heroes and the heavens. Lyrian would listen, its light pulsing gently, sometimes flaring with recognition at tales of its own constellation. They communicated through shared feelings and images. Finn would feel the cold vastness of space, the beautiful song of the spheres Lyrian missed, and Lyrian would feel the warmth of Finn's small hand near its light, the rustle of autumn leaves underfoot, the simple joy of existence. The woods around their secret glade seemed brighter, touched by Lyrian's presence, and Finn's loneliness began to mend. Yet the pull of the sky remained strong within Lyrian. As its strength slowly returned, so did a deep, melancholic longing. Its light would sometimes surge upwards, straining towards the night sky where its brothers and sisters still shone, forming the incomplete Lyra. Finn felt this yearning as a physical ache in His own heart, he knew Lyrian belonged among the stars. Not trapped on the forest floor, but the thought of losing his only true friend, this luminous being who understood his silent world, filled him with a dread colder than the deepest space. He saw the constellation above, still missing its vital point, a constant reminder of Lyrian's absence, and the impossible distance between the forest floor and the heavens. How could something so precious ever return home? One exceptionally clear, cold night, the incomplete Lyra shone with an almost painful brilliance. Lyrian stood tall in the glade, its light burning brighter and more urgently than Finn had ever seen it. Turned its starry eyes to Finn, and the images flooded him. The cosmic tapestry pulling, the song of the constellation growing louder. A summons it could no longer resist. Finn understood it was time. Tears welled in his eyes, blurring the shimmering form before him. But he nodded. You have to go home, he choked out. Lyrian nudged Finn gently with its ethereal nose, filling him with a surge of warmth, gratitude, and enduring love. Then, gathering its light, Lyrian began to rise. It ascended slowly at first, then faster, a column of pure, silver radiance shooting upwards from the heart of the whispering woods, piercing the night. Higher and higher Lyrian climbed, a reverse meteor returning to its source. Finn watched, tears streaming freely now, but a profound sense of rightness filled him. The beam of light soared straight towards the gap in the constellation of Lyra. As it touched the void, there was a silent explosion of pure, harmonious light. The missing star blazed back into its rightful place, brighter than ever before, completing the celestial harp. The entire constellation seemed to vibrate with joy, pulsing with a gentle, silvery radiance that bathed the entire village and forest below. Finn felt Lyrian's joy, its profound relief, and a final, gentle pulse of affection, directed solely at him. A warmth that settled deep within his bones. Finn stood in the quiet glade long after the last echoes of light had faded. The woods felt different, still mysterious, but no longer lonely. He looked up at the restored Lyra, shining with a special brilliance. He knew Lyrian was home, back with its constellation family, singing its part in the eternal music of the spheres. And Finn? He still lived near the woods, still a quiet boy, but he carried a universe within him now. Whenever he felt alone, he simply looked up at the bright, complete Lyra. He could feel Lyrian's presence, a constant, gentle warmth against his heart, a silent reminder that even the most lost things can find their way home, and that true connection, forged in kindness, can bridge the impossible distance between the earth and the stars, forever lighting the way through the darkness. He smiled, knowing he was never truly alone under the vast starry sky.